Our next guest, Dan Cordes, CEO of Foundry St. Louis. Good morning, Dan. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, McGraw. Thanks for having me.
All right, so explain the difference to those of us who aren't paying close attention. You're another group that wants to try and bring a team to the MLS here in St. Louis, right?
We are. That's correct. Yes. We formed a management ownership group back, I guess it was January 12th, when the NFL announced that the Rams were going to be leaving St. Louis. And we've been working towards bringing that expansion franchise here to St. Louis ever since.
And what happened last night? What did you unveil last night?
Well, first of all, we want to thank the people at Urban Chestnut for hosting the event. We had, there was to get input from the fans, understand what they'd like to see in a stadium, and then take that input and incorporate it into our plans.
What did you learn from last night?
Well, people, in terms of the stadium design, I think people were pleasantly surprised that we could put that kind of a stadium together for such little money. The comments were mostly positive, and we did get some negative comments. We're going to take those into
Yeah, Dan, we're having a hard time. Are you on a landline, Dan, or are you on a cell phone, Dan?
I'm on a cell.
Okay, all right. We got you better again. Okay, so say that again. Oh, we missed that answer. What did you learn? What was some of the feedback you got from the fans last night?
Well, people are obviously wondering about traffic patterns and about ingress and egress to the stadium. What's the impact going to be in terms of how easy is it going to be for me to get to the game? We've got major highways on either side of our proposed location. There's a Metrolink stop right there on Grand. The bus lines that run on Grand are the busiest in St. Louis. So I think fans are interested in where's the stadium going to be located, how easy is it going to be for me to get there, and then once I get to the stadium, what can I expect to see inside?
Yeah. The stadium is going to cost how much?
We don't have a final number on that yet, but if you look at the recent stadiums that have been constructed, anywhere from I'd say 110 to 130 million.
How much money? How much money are you going to need from state, local, federal?
Our goal is to fund this with as much private money as possible. We would only backfill if there was a need to do that.
A lot of people don't understand, including yours truly, why there are two groups. You guys can't work together? Are you competing? Are you against each other? Do you hate each other? Do you love each other? What's going on here?
Well, the MLS to STL group that was formed back, I think it was in February, we understood it to be a search committee. And what we didn't want to see happen was to see St. Louis kind of fall by the wayside and not have anyone step up and take this on as a project. So we did that. And early on, we got advice from the MLS to STL group. But since then, we've not been able to get together with them since they've announced their own ownership group. We'd love to do that. As a matter of fact, last night at the event, we had invited Mr. Peacock and others to come and join us for the event, but they were unable to attend.
So how does this work? You're working with the MLS, and if you're going to make a proposal to the MLS to get a team, and they might, and the MLS will pick the one they want?
Well, we've proposed to the MLS that both groups, assuming that we've got our site location, they've got their site location, propose that both groups submit sealed bids to the league so that they can compare and contrast both bids and then select the best bid that's there.
Right.
Our goal would be to work with the MLS to STL group if they're willing to work with us. We've got nothing but good things to say about them, and we think with their past history in sports that it could only be a plus for the groups to combine. But if it turns out that they don't want to combine, then we'll continue on the same path we're on now.
So part of that combination and part of those conversations would be working out some type of arrangement on ownership group, right? Who would be the owner? Who would be the main lead owner? Who would be the other investors, right? That's sort of the sticking point in all that.
Yeah, they obviously have their investors. We have our investors. We feel comfortable with the people we've got in terms of being able to come up with the money we need. So those would be things that we'd have to work out.
What's the timeline from the MLS on all this?
They haven't really announced anything formally, but it's our understanding that mid-November there's an expansion committee meeting that's going to consider, I think right now there are like 7 cities vying for 4 spots. So the expansion committee meeting will end up producing recommendations to the Board of Governors at the end of December, and then shortly after that, they should be making a decision.
So this is coming down in the next 6 months or so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dan Cordes with CEO of Foundry St. Louis. Dan, website for people to see all the plans and everything.
www.foundrystlouis.com.
Dan, thanks for checking in.
Yeah, thank you.